Hi everyone. Let's talk about interpersonal communication skills after this intro. Hi everyone. Welcome back. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh and welcome to my channel, The Nervous Speaker. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for dropping by and thank you for your time. I hope you stick around till the end so that, makikita mo. And well, I'm quite sure that you will learn something new. And to our dear subscribers who have been with us for several months now, since I think, last year, 2024. Thank you so much, guys, for your support. Anyway, I know it has been several weeks since we have posted. Yeah, we have been absent, diba, for several weeks. Well, I have an excuse. First, Ramadan. Then after that, syempre, we have some personal issues that we need to attend to. So, medyo natagalan talaga bago tayo mag-upload. Eto na yun. Eto na yung video natin, right? And this time, guys, I'm so happy to share this with you because I feel that this is so useful and timely, especially among students and professionals. Why? Because yung interpersonal communication, we do this every day, right? Some of us, we take it for granted. Maybe because parang feeling natin, malaway naman yan magbisara. Yes, you're right. Pero always remember, it's not just the words that matters, it's how you say it. Tsaka, kinoconsider mo din yung kausap mo, yung context, yung environment. So yun, ang daming dapat i-consider talaga when you are communicating. And now, if we talk about interpersonal communication, this is a communication that takes place between and among individuals. So, pag sinabing dalawa lang kayo nag-uusap, two individuals, that's dyadic, right? And then pag, say for example, you have a group of 3 to 10 persons or 10 individuals, that's small group communication. And then if you have like 25, that's a minimum for public speaking or public communication. And then we have also yung tinatawag nila mass communication. So, say for example, sa radio or sa TV, ganyan. And then, wag natin kalimutan yung intrapersonal communication. It's when you talk to yourself. Sometimes we do that, right? Pero wag parati, charis. Anyway, yun na nga, as I said a while ago, why do we need to learn the skills sa interpersonal communication? Because we do this every day. One. Number two, if you are aware and if you are able to master your interpersonal communication, you can respond or react appropriately sa kausap mo. So parang mas nagkakaintindihan, mas nagiging impactful, meaningful ang conversation because you know how to react appropriately. So yun ang maganda doon. Anyway, guys, because the topic is kind of long, mahaba-haba siya ng konti, parang we have like 12 skills that we need to discuss, I have decided to divide it into two parts. So this one is our part 1. Yung video na to is part 1. So in this video, I'm just going to discuss the 5 skills that you need to learn and relearn. I know that some of you are, familiar na sa mga skills na to. So, parang nire-refresh ko lang. And for some students na medyo bago pa, I hope you will take it to your heart to learn more about this and to practice this in your conversation. So, wag na nating patagalin. Let's get right to it. So, ano itong mga skills na to? Number 1 is the NVC. We have yung non-verbal communication skills. What are these interpersonal communication skills? Let's get right to it. Okay, as I've said a while ago, I'm just going to discuss 5. Yung first is yung NVC or non-verbal communication skills. So what do we mean by this? If we talk about non-verbal communication skills, ibig sabihin, these are anything that you don't use yung words or yung boses mo. So, eto na yung facial expression, yung gesture, yung posture mo, the way you stand, the way you sit, yung space, the way you use your space can also be counted as NVC. Yung appearance mo, yung grooming, diba? Sinusuot mo, yung mga accessories na ginagamit mo. These are nonverbal, right? So, when you are aware of using appropriately the NVC na dapat sa message mo, then promise, it will come out very impactful. Mas meaningful yung conversation ninyo. Now, how are you going to see to it na appropriate siya? Always see to it that your words, your speech should be in harmony with your nonverbal cues. So, ibig sabihin, if your message is very positive, diba, positive siya, then it should show doon din sa facial expression mo that you are happy or positive talaga. Say, example, I often notice students, pag nakikita kami or they pass me by, tapos siguro, some of them parang, minsan they really like to greet parang, hi ma'am, good morning. Ayan, ang ganda ng message, good morning. Usually, good morning. Mahang day mag-good afternoon. So, yun siya, guys. Pero the way it was said, parang hindi naman good ang morning. So, nawawala yung meaning ng words. When you greet someone, and it is, hi ma'am, good morning, smile ka naman. Kasi, dapat tugma talaga yung words at saka yung NVC, yung facial expression mo that you're really happy, that's really a good morning, it's a pleasant morning, diba? Pero pag nag-greet ka naman, pero the words came out clipped, good morning ma'am, yes, tulan ka. So, di siya sa parang, medyo masakit na siya hadagal mo, diba? So, yun ang ibig kong sabihin nun. So, it's really very important. Pag nag-interact ka with other people, sa interpersonal communication, interaction mo, dapat tugma parate yung non-verbal cues mo, ibansin words mo. Now, be very careful, however, because we came from different backgrounds, different cultures, we have different interpretations of non-verbal cues. For example, I often hear this from my mother. Pag I don't know this is from my mother. Sabi niya, pag kinakausap ka, dapat tinitingnan mo. So when you're talking to someone, there should be an eye contact, right? Because if the person avoids your eye while he or she is talking to you, that person cannot be trusted. Charis. So yun siya. So dapat yung eye contact talaga, importante. However, there are other cultures that they do not allow eye contact. Now, what if, for example, meron kang nakausap tapos hindi siya nag-eye contact sa'yo? Huwag kang mag-judge agad. Try to know more about the other person. Baka part ng culture niya na hindi nag-eye contact. So, yun siya. Another, there are some people, ayaw nilang hinahawakan yung, kasi kung minsan, di ba, we goof around, malangog kita. So, some students, they just goof around, or kahit mga older people, they goof around. So, pagkaputanin, do you know that there are some people, they do not like their head to be touched? Kasi feeling nila parang, bang kaputan dawin parang disrespectful. So, be very careful din. So, that's also nonverbal. Okay? Now, kahit pa sabihin mo na langog lang yun, it was just a joke. Again, you have to be aware kung ano yung pwede mong gawin at kung ano yung hindi mo pwedeng gawin. Kasi nga, we have different cultures, right? Yung cultures natin kasi it varies. So, we have different interpretations sa mga sa mga signs, sa mga words, and nonverbal cues natin. So, we have to be very aware of that. Now, number 2, sa interpersonal interaction mo, it's also very important yung tinatawag na reinforcement skill. Ano ibig sabihin ng reinforcement? Reinforcement means you strengthen para pakusugun mo pa to. So, if you're a listener, how would you show reinforcement? Say, for example, someone is talking to you, you can nod your head, as if you are into the conversation talaga. Or if nakakatawa, then you smile or you laugh out loud, something like that. Or pwede mo nang sabihin na pag-ubos and then biyato ba? So, importante kasi ang reinforcement to make the conversation more meaningful. Parang mas magiging talaga siya, kumbaga, pleasant. Because try to imagine if you are talking to someone and that person just stared back at you. Parang you're talking to a blank wall. How would you feel? Walang reinforcement, walang encouragement whatsoever. So, ikaw na nagsasalita, you feel so ignored, you feel disrespected, or pakusugunta na, you feel so insignificant. Charis. So yun siya guys. If you're going to reverse yung parang, how do you feel? Ikaw, how do you feel? Ito nanonotice ko talaga. Sometimes when we are invited to, for example, as resource speaker, I usually looked into the eyes of sa mga audience. And it really parang kuminsan, parang nakaka-down kung minsan na parang when you look at them and you're asking them a question or parang you just want to connect, kumbaga. Pero instead of looking back at you, ang ginagawa nila, they look down. Okay, I have asked a student why I have asked someone about this. Sabi ng estudyante, kung minsan daw parang they feel parang embarrassed pag sila talaga ang, for example, yung speaker, tumitingin sa kanila, parang feeling nila daw, parang nagzi-zero in talaga yung attention dun sa kanila. Actually, don't be. It's really very important yung mental connection ng audience at saka ng speaker. So, you can show, reinforcement by smiling back or by nodding your head. Wala namang mawawala sa'yo. Diba? So, that's actually a skill, yung reinforcement. Number 3 skill, questioning skill. Okay, how do you ask question? When you are talking with someone, it's not enough that you ask question, diba? Always ask questions, yung answers that can be expanded. Ibig sabihin, avoid asking close-ended question. Ano ibig sabihin ng close-ended question? These are questions that can be answered by yes or no. So, for example, you would ask your friend, uwi ka na ba? Oh, that can be answered by yes or no. Right? So, parang wala na masyadong pag-uusapan. Ano mo na, sambong na lang kayo mo on. Wasta lang. How can you say it in another way na makapag-story pa siya kayo mo? Diba? Kasi when you ask question, you draw out someone. You ask question because you want to extract information. You ask question to start the conversation. You ask question because you want his opinion. You ask question because you're confused. Pero what if yung question mo is not asked in the right way? So yun. So be very careful. Importante din yung asking question the right way. So always ask questions, yung mga open-ended questions. Ibig sabihin, the one who will answer it can elaborate more, can talk more about it. It should not just be answered by yes or no. O, klaro yun. And then, number 4. Ano itong number 4? Reflecting skill. So, yung reflecting skills, this is a skill that is usually, done by guidance counselor. So, you reflect on what is being said already. So, parang nagsasalita yung speaker, then inuulit mo lang to give back what you think about it. So, pwedeng ganun. Parang, it's a give and take. Kasi yung sa conversation kasi, it's really very interesting pag, kumbaga, free-flowing. Hindi yung parang yung isa lang yung nagsasalita tapos yung isa nakikinig lang. It would have been better if, for example, I will talk about something tapos yung kausap ko you can disagree by the way. You can agree or disagree. Okay lang yan. And para, kumbaga, you're picking out on each other's brain. Yun. So, when you reflect, you give something of what you think of that particular issue. It's not just parang you agree or disagree. Kasi kung minsan naman wala namang problema sa when you disagree or agree. Kasi let's face it, we have different opinions on certain issues, right? So you cannot just expect people to agree with you all the time. Napaka-boring naman yun. So, yun siya guys. That's the 4th one. And just to recap, yung number 1 is NVC, nonverbal communication. Number 2 is reinforcement. Number 3 is questioning skill. Number 4 is reflecting. And this is the last one. Yung last one is opening and closing skill. Ayan. Yung opening and closing skill, this is very crucial. Okay lang pag kakilala mo na talaga or friend mo na. So, madali na lang yung sa opening. Pero what if you are talking to someone, a stranger? So how? The way you approach that person, the first word that you utter matters a lot. Opening yun. And then after the conversation, how will you say goodbye? How will you conclude the conversation? That tells something about your character. So, importante yung opening and closing. Okay, one familiar example. Eto ha, mangkokubdan, sorry na. Charis. May mga estudyante talaga doon sa department namin, sa language department. So, say for example, yung mga faculty members nandun while waiting for the next class. Tapos biglang someone comes in, estudyante. And then yung estudyante, or a group of students, tatlo sila, or kuminsan, mag-isa lang siya, will just stand there, rooted, as if, and then will just look around without even saying a word. Parang, kami na yung nag-adjust. Kasi after several seconds, titingin lang siya ganyan, walang words na lumalabas sa bibig niya. So yung teacher would ask, Shinle, wag minda. And then the student would say, hainin table hi Ma'am Dayang. Yun. So ikaw naman, ayan nanda. So, pag yan, wala man lang kahit thank you o kaya mag-ma-up ma'am or whatsoever, hibutang lang yung paper tapos minig na, minsan na maid. Wow! Grabe ka! So usually guys, what happens to manners? Opening and closing, interaction yun. So how would you do that, guys? If pupunta ka doon, hindi naman yun room mo. May mga tao doon. Hindi yun robot, right? These are people. So, wag mo na isipin, kahit pa hindi mo na isipin faculty members. Ano na lang, isipin mo na lang, mga tao yun. Di ba parang it's appropriate na pagpasok mo, Assalamualaikum, manjari mga subo ma'am, o kaya, Assalamualaikum ma'am, magmaap, hain in table hi Ma'am Dayang. O di ba, napaka-easy nun. O, pag yan kayo mo yan, hinda, o yan, butangan lang doon, hibutang mo na. And then, before you could go, wala namang mawawala. Siwang ko mamaid. Magsukol ma'am, matuna kami ma'am, magsukol. Yun, manners. That's good manners. Yun ang opening and closing. Na kung minsan, nanonotice ko talaga, wala na talaga ngayon. Parang magugulat ka na lang, papasok sa room, sa office, akala mo siya yung may-ari. Tapos ibutang lang pa table, tapos mig na, lutaw. Yun. I cannot understand. I'm so sorry if I'm so a little bit passionate about this. I tell my students about this. And yung iba kasi hindi ko estudyante. So, alangan naman baitaan ko yung kapan co-teachers ko na you should tell your students. But this is an example of opening and closing. It's really very important. Crucial yung opening and closing sa interaction. So, importante yung the way you approach, ano yung words na sasabihin mo. Because that says a lot about you. Right? Ayan siya guys. So, there you have it. So, sa next video natin, we're going to talk about the 7 na hindi ko pa na-discuss sa inyo. I hope you learned something new guys. And the next time you have that conversation, try to practice this, yung sinabi ko sa inyo. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are new to this channel, try to click that subscribe button para at least you can be notified kung meron tayong videos sa next. Thank you guys. So, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Bye!